What's up YouTube? I'm John Wheels, and today we're going to be replacing the rusty trailer hitch on my 2004 Silverado 2500 HD. So if you look under here, rusted completely through. You can even see how bad it is in there. So we're going to cut it out and build a new one. Alright, so I started by removing this plug. Just you twist it 90 degrees and then those little guys slide out of there, and then just unplug it from the wiring harness, and then we'll get under there and pop off the clips. Alright, so on the back side here, we're just going to pop off those little clips right there and there so that this trailer hitch can come free. Zip these guys off. Rusty. Alright, so you guys probably don't want to watch me take out bolts, so there's two here, and then up under here there's 1, 2, 3, and then the hitch should drop out. Alright, so if you weren't aware now why I was replacing this trailer hitch, take a look at that. Just rusted completely out. Really bad. So anyway, there we go. We can get started measuring and making a new one. Okay, so here's the plan for the hitch. This big rectangle is going to be our big C channel, and then I'm going to cut the end off so it's going to be a common angle. This notch is for the spring hanger. Then we'll cut around here for the pipe to slide through. That'll have our receiver tube on it, and then to notch out room for the bumper. I really only need this much, but I don't like that sharp corner, so I'm probably just going to taper it back till 14, because that's when the end of the frame rail stops anyways, so we have a nice sweeping motion there. So our cut length is 22.5. Let's go cut these. Alright, so I got this all laid out. I'm going to notch this area for the bumper. This will be my cutout for my pipe, and I did that just for aesthetics. And then this notch is for the spring hanger. So I'm going to scribe it with a grinder so that I can see the lines while I'm cutting, and then we can cut it out. Alright, so there it is, all scribed out with a grinder. That way I can actually see my marks, and the Sharpie won't burn away whenever I'm plasma cutting. Alright, so I used this height gauge in the machine shop to kind of start a little line on the table while I get a little pipe at like a ½ inch and 3 inches. This is 2.5 inch receiver tube, 3.5 inch pipe. So that way I can mark out the squares I need to cut. Alright, so I got the center section of this pipe cut out. Just ended up plasma cutting and then grinding it up with a carbide burr. So now we can slide in our receiver tube and make sure it's square and weld it up. All right, so since this really matters, I got my rods in the oven here. We're gonna bake them at 300 for 2 hours. And honestly, just leave them there until I'm ready to weld. Alrighty, so my phone's running out of battery, but got some good welds in there. Had to kind of do a whip and pause for the open root for the 1/8 inch, and then I capped over everything with a 5/32 7018. So that's burned in there, nice and solid. It didn't go anywhere. Alright, so I got this guy fixtured up. So I kept the 42-inch spacing between the outside of my frame rails, which is what these are going to be flush with. I'm keeping my hitch nice and level with the table, and now we can go ahead and weld it up. Alright, so what I did here was weld in a bar that's going to keep the length on this side consistent while I weld, so that these don't pull in or out and do not square anymore. Alright, so there's pass number 1. Now we'll go ahead and move over to capping it up with some 5/32 7018. Alright, so I looked up some safety chain hooks, so we'll plasma those out. Just this out of the octa from the main part. We'll just go here and here. Alright, so now that it's all welded up, I'm laying the old hitch on top, and then I can come in and trace out my old holes to know where to cut those. So I'll mark those, blast them out, and it should be done. Alrighty, it's done. That was a big project, but anyway, pretty happy with a lot of the welds. Got those slots cut out. Now we're gonna go throw it on the truck. Alright, so got the new hitch installed. Thing looks super beefy. Should be able to pull anything that the truck's able to pull. Got some good looking welds on there, nice and strong. Got 3 big bolts on each side in the factory locations. I ended up drilling out the old 2 holes there and putting in some 5/8 bolts, and then that one is the factory one because it has a captive nut on the other side. All right, so I got it loaded up. We'll see how it tows.